What's up, everyone? This is Silver Slayer, and welcome to your daily silver stacking video. Thank you for tuning in. Silver Stackers, now listen. When I say click subscribe, it's not for my sake, it's for your own. I post daily videos covering the newest, latest, freshest, most up-to-date recent information in the world of precious metals that you have to know. You cannot be blindly investing in today's day and age. It's just not possible. There's too much happening that affects the prices that you guys need to know about. I'm also doing a massive 50,000 subscriber giveaway. I'll be giving away a disgustingly large amount of silver that, trust me, you don't want to miss. So click subscribe and also click the bell, or you might not get notified when the entry video gets posted. Now, we all know, every single one of you know that silver is money. It's been money for thousands of years. It was literally the first money of our financial system, backed by the dollar. Before gold, silver was. So when I saw this article, I came across this article saying, will silver become obsolete as money? I wanted to look at the reasoning, and I found another article, or a couple other articles, explaining why gold and silver are real money, so we can compare and contrast these two articles, see some of the points they're making. Are they going to make relevant points? If so, I'll agree. I don't want to become unbiased. I want to look at both sides of the coin, pun intended, and just see some of the points they're making, because we are advancing into a new age, a new digital technological era. If you think of a sci-fi movie, let's say like a movie like 500 years from now, 1,000 years from now, wouldn't you think their money would be something very digital, very, high tech, kind of like cryptocurrency? So would cryptocurrency be, or is it becoming the new form of money? I already see Bitcoin replacing the dollar. I mean, look everywhere except Bitcoin. A lot of countries are actually switching to Bitcoin because their fiat systems just don't work. But I still think that gold and silver are the only thing that have real intrinsic value, because if you cannot hold it in your hand, you don't own it. So let's look at these articles. I would love to hear what you think. I love when you all participate. After you like the video, comment down below what you think about this stuff. I always love hearing your comments. So let's jump into this. Will silver become obsolete as money? In an interview this week, researcher Lobo Tigre expressed the opinion that silver may become obsolete as a financial and monetary asset. Instead, it soon may be valued on the basis of being only an industrial metal such as copper. Now, we know that the governments already don't really look at silver as quote-unquote money. Gold is more money. And that's because, I mean, look, silver has been suppressed from the government, from banks for a long time now. Even back when I was covering the Hunt brothers in 1980, I mean, the government's always been trying to suppress the silver market. I mean, price manipulation. I've covered a lot of different articles and videos talking about this. So that's nothing new. But when we look at what money is, what makes gold and silver money, you can't argue just because someone says or thinks something is something, or labeling it a certain way doesn't mean that's not what it really is. So I do want to stick to the idea of why it was money in the first place and what makes something money. His underlying data for this idea comes from a shift in how silver's price trend is tandem with gold. He stated that gold and silver prices moved into the same direction from 1975 to now almost 89% of the time. However, over the past 10 years, their prices have risen or fallen at the same time only 75% of the days. Over the last year, this correlation has gone off the rails, where the prices of these two metals have trended in the same direction fewer than 20% of the days. And this is why I love covering articles like this. This does not mean that silver is not becoming money. This actually means, in my opinion, Silver is taking on a life of its own beyond gold because silver is so much useful, essential. I think it will always be money, and these articles we're about to cover will explain why. But I do see, and I've been saying this for the last couple of years, silver will take on a life of its own beyond gold because what makes silver valuable is a lot of the industrial sector, which they did mention in this. I just don't think they're seeing the underlying point. When gold rises, silver rises tenfold. When gold drops, silver drops tenfold. It's like gold on steroids. They call it the devil's metal. It's a riskier form. But moving forwards in this new digital age, why silver is going to explode, gold has no place. Silver is used in these 5G towers and these solar panels, electric vehicles, silver lithium ion batteries, all this stuff that silver is used for that's going to make it profitable, including the silver shortage, gold has no place in. And gold is only valuable because it's used for jewelry and coins and bars and necklaces and earrings. So moving forwards, why silver is going to explode in price is not going to push gold in the same direction. So yes, we're going to see this type of price cutoff. There's going to be this time where no matter what gold's doing, silver is going to do its own thing. No matter what stock markets are doing, silver is going to do its own thing. No matter what the dollar index is doing, silver is going to do its own thing. In addition to that decline in the correlation of daily price moves, Tigray also forecasted that cryptocurrencies have the potential to displace the use of silver in smaller financial transactions. Thus, even if the US dollar were to collapse, there would not necessarily be a reason to use silver to pay for things. And when you're looking at paying for something in silver, there's already a silver shortage. The US Mint's already having a hard time finding coins. So do you really think it's possible or realistic for silver to be used from a tangible aspect of money? No, but it's a backing. It's what keeps something valuable. It's why silver was used in the first place. It's why dollars were created. When I went to the store and handed the store clerk a 50-cent walking liberty, there was 50 cents of actual silver inside of that coin. So I was exchanging 50 cents of silver for whatever that good was that was worth 50 cents. But when our money was basically, I guess, just thrown into the worthless state when it was not backed by when we got rid of the gold standard and silver standard, you could see why things got crazy. But that doesn't mean that we need physical silver to be quote unquote used as money. It could still be crypto. There's a lot of cryptocurrency that's backed by physical silver and gold now. There is going to be a reset. We don't know what it's going to be, but it is going to be something different. And I do see cryptocurrency having a place in our financial system, and gold and silver always will, regardless of who says it is or not. The concept of displacing silver in financial and monetary transactions has a parallel in new technology and has displaced the use of coins and then currencies. For most of history, only coins were used as payment. The regular use of currency in place of coins is a relatively modern development. It wasn't until about the 1300s that currency widely circulated in China, and for the first continuous currency elsewhere appeared in Sweden in 1661. As currency displaced much of the usage of coins as payment, the use of checks then displaced much of the use of coins and currency in everyday commerce. Even the use of checks has now declined as a higher percentage of transactions are conducted with credit, debit cards, and online transactions. And in the United States today, fewer than 10% of all commerce is paid with currency and coins. And actually, with this situation, with this virus, probably less. If you go to the store, do you ever see someone paying with dollars? No, it's all digital, online banking, right? Mobile banking. It's all digital. And that's why I say cryptocurrency is the more realistic, outcome. But that doesn't mean that gold and silver aren't used as a quote unquote monetary status, especially, gold always will. I mean, the only reason the United States is the richest country in the world is because we own the most gold. It's not like because we own the most Bitcoin, we're going to be the richest country. No, that's not realistic. It's always going to be precious metals. And I do see silver having some type of stance in that, regardless of who says it is or not. However, this trend away from using silver for payment in everyday commerce does not mean that silver will lose its status as a financial asset. And there we go. See, this article actually isn't as bad as the title. A sizable percentage of the world's population today does not have access to the banking system or to making payments electronically. Many regions of India with a population of hundreds of millions of people are just one example. In these parts of the world, you can still find many transactions settled through payment with gold or silver. Another factor is to consider the tactics used by governments and central banks to suppress the price of gold. And this is a huge, huge topic that I've covered and I've dissected on my channel. I highly recommend you go check out those videos of price manipulation, price suppression. And it's more than just spoofing. It's more than just, JP Morgan rigging the markets. It's way deeper than that. One tactic takes advantage of the public's perception that gold and silver are both monetary metals. Therefore, if the price of silver can be held down, which is a market that is only a tiny fraction of the size of that for gold, this will send a signal that gold's price might go down. Over the past 2 years, it seems clear to me that the efforts to suppress gold and silver prices have gone to greater extremes, and they have. And I also think that's why silver and gold price manipulation is a much more punishable crime. Two of JP Morgan's employees or ex-employees got sent to prison a couple months ago. The latest was Merrill Lynch or the Dutch bank. It was one of those. I'm pretty sure it was Merrill Lynch. They got caught with spoofing. Their employees got sent to prison. They're backdating this. So yes, I mean, it's not new news that there is corrupt stuff happening behind the precious metals markets. No doubt due to the increasingly shaky global financial system than in years past. Consequently, it would not surprise me that simply putting downward pressure on silver prices to help hold down gold could result in the lower correlation in recent price moves of the two metals. I could see the point he's making there, but I definitely think it has to do more with the silver shortage. There's huge premiums on silver bullion, not gold, because gold isn't scarce. Also, the correlation of daily price moves is not necessarily the most accurate indicator of correlation. What about an analysis correlating gold and silver price trends on a weekly, monthly, or yearly or other basis? Even those analyses for the alternative time periods would not necessarily be that enlightening. From the end of 1999 to September 2011, the price of gold rose more than 6 times. And we're also looking at $50 silver here. The late researcher Adrian Douglas did a bit of research on this increase. He found that the changes in the price of gold from the London AM fix to the London PM fix the same day actually totaled a net decline in the price of gold during that time period. What that meant is trading from London PM to the fix next day's London AM gold price fix generated more 100% of the increase in the price of gold in nearly 12 years of trading. So I don't see what these points he's trying to make are too relevant to the grand scheme of things. But I still want to see where he's trying to go with this. At minimum, further analysis would need to be done to see if Tigre's declining correlation of gold and silver price moves prove consistent for different time periods. I mean, that doesn't look. He's thinking too much backwards and not forwards. Since this is all happening nowadays, you have to look forwards of why it's happening nowadays, not just trying to track back 6,000 years ago and 4,000 years ago in 1999. The reason that gold and silver recently have been becoming detached is because of silver's industrial uses. It is Plain and simple as that. Silver is going to be needed more and more and more and more, but there's less and less and less of it, making it more scarce, making it more valuable, where gold just simply doesn't have that same type of pull. In addition, and there's a reason why my name is Silver Slayer, not Gold Slayer, right? We know this. We knew this was happening. His contention that people will stop thinking of silver as a financial and monetary metal may not happen soon. And yes, gold has been used as asset for 6,000 years, or for 6,000 years, while silver's been 4,000 years. Which I don't see how anyone, if they weren't living that long ago, could actually try to make that type of point. I mean, they both have been used since the beginning of man. In ancient biblical times, the gold to silver ratio was 2.5 to 1. Some say it was 1 to 1 because they saw silver was magical since it could purify water. I mean, trying to make that point has nothing to do with nowadays. So in my mind, I think there's a good chance that the use of physical forms of payment may almost completely disappear in the future. And yes, I mean, I don't see anyone going to be paying with physical silver unless it was an SHTF scenario where we would be bartering or trading, which a lot of people actually do start stacking from. A lot of people don't think that everything is going to last. Things are going to collapse. There's going to be more of not an apocalyptic, but more of a SHTF scenario where things, go haywire and we would go back to bartering as we did before. Now, that is one. I mean, that's more looking at it from a very, extreme negative, perspective. But preppers are all over, and every prepper will own silver, not so much gold. Actually, no gold. All preppers stack silver, and there's a reason for that. Now, I think the public would initially turn to physical gold and silver as a reliable medium of exchange more than they would trust any electronic or internet payment system. And yes, that's why preppers invest into silver. Now, here's an article talking about why gold and silver are real money. And this is what I'm talking about. Regardless of the points that this guy's trying to make, this is what real money is. And that's why gold and silver will always be real money, no matter who says or who tries to put that label that silver isn't. Gold and silver are liquid, meaning they are easily exchanged, traded, bartered with, or sold for non-monetary government-issued currencies. Number 2, gold and silver are consistent. That refers to the fact that gold and silver are easily recognized in their appearance and composition have never changed, right? 1 ounce of silver is always going to have 1 ounce of silver inside of it, no matter who says that coin is worth what, no matter what the price tag attached to it is. Number 3, gold and silver are divisible. Smaller or larger units of precious metals are proportional in value. Most other tangible items of value are not. Number 4, gold and silver are convenient, meaning even smaller units hold noteworthy value and are easy to carry and transport. Number 5, gold and silver are durable. That means, as with all precious metals, they are not biodegradable, nor can they evaporate and disappear without a trace. That is not the case with many forms of so-called money. And finally, and maybe most importantly, gold and silver cannot be created on a whim. Both are finite. Whereas there's almost an infinite amount of paper on this planet, there's a very finite amount of accessible precious metals. And that's as black and white as you can get, right? It's black and white as you can get. Now, this article comes from more of a U.S. dollar, more from a financial system standpoint, and it goes into globalist biggest scam, everything else is debt, yada yada. So you can kind of get where this article's going to go, but I mean, I still want to cover a little bit of it. So only gold and silver, which are commodities, are money. And actually, I want to come up here first. So debt can never be money. Yes, everyone believes it because they believe the dollar is money, right? They have universal recognition and acceptance. By contrast, the Fed dollar is not money. It is a currency. A currency represents actual money. And that makes sense, right? A dollar used to be a way to say, or a certificate to say, I own, or this will and can be exchanged for physical gold or silver. It wasn't the actual dollar itself that was valuable. It was a certificate saying that I could turn this in for the money, which is gold or silver. But nowadays, we took the gold and silver away, making that certificate, that paper dollar, the money. But it has no value because it isn't backing by anything that it was initially made for. So there is no currency that represents true money. Fiat does not exist except in one's mind. Yet around the world, everyone believes their local currency is money. Most people measure the value of gold and silver by their imaginary currency. Imaginary because it's backed by nothing. Basic understanding of the difference between money and currency allows you to fully understand the globalist massive Ponzi scheme, which is aided and abetted by every government guilty of perpetuating the fraud. So that's definitely, it makes sense on multiple levels. The only way to measure gold and silver's value is by the daily fluctuating number of fiats required to buy either metal. The metal's value does not change. It is the number of fiats determining how gold and silver are priced. And that's why I always say silver's price is essentially nothing, because the only reason that price is worth that is that exact time and date and that time period of what our fake money is saying it's worth. And that's why I always say gold and silver have no quote unquote value compared to US dollars or any type of dollar, because it's the 1 ounce inside of it, not the price tag attached to it. That's also why I say spot price is irrelevant. So, let's, knowing the difference between money and currency is a perfect example. Currency you hold is even more unreal than paper currency that you still may think is money, because anything is digitalized is pure fiction. And yes, I mean, if you can see, the moral of the story is gold and silver will always be money, no matter who thinks it is or not, because money is they're trying to portray money as something that it's not. And they have been doing this for a long time. And as soon as they got rid of the gold and silver standard, that was it. And as if you've ever seen a chart of the dollar or the dollar strength, as soon as we got rid of the gold and silver standard, look at the chart, it skyrockets. And that's that. So hopefully you're preserving your wealth. You are putting your money or your fake money into real money, and hopefully we'll never have to transfer back. Yes, we do as investors try to invest in things to make money, but we all know that isn't real money. But you still have to buy, a car with that fake money. You still have to put down a house payment with that money. So it is an interesting situation. I would definitely say never sell all of your gold or silver, but you can take some off the top of the profit to still live a nice, healthy, if you want, fancy life. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. The 3 links to these articles will be in the description. What do you think about this? A lot of it is very skeptical, very theoretical, very controversial. I'm sure a lot of the stuff I talk about, or some of the stuff I talked about, you're not going to agree with. But if you don't, be respectful. I mean, this is all opinionated. I have my opinion. You can have your opinion. And that doesn't mean that one is right or wrong. It just means we both see things in different perspectives. But if we can all share our 2 cents, we can have a better idea. And that's why I always say I want you to participate in the comment section. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you've been watching this video until this point, pat yourself on the back, because not many people have. Most people clicked off this video within 2 or 3 minutes thinking they know it all, thinking they don't need to know anymore. And that's very close-minded, and you're keeping an open mind, trying to get every piece of information as you can, which I can guarantee is going to lead to a more successful strategy. So pat yourself on the back. I respect you. And yeah, good for you. Thank you. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.